Hi guys, this is Mrs. Taranjo with the Citizenship Academy. We are on our second lesson of astronomy or learning about the solar system. So for today we're going to do some more reading in our readers, some questions I'm going to ask throughout, and then at the end we're going to be talking about something called a conjunction. So let's jump right into our work. So today we're going to be reading The Moon in chapter 2. Before I start reading, I want you to look for the answer to this question. How can we see the moon at night, and does the moon give off its own light? So as we read this page, I want you to figure out that question. Chapter 2, The Moon. Look up in the sky at night. What do you see? If it is not cloudy, you may be able to see the moon. When you see the moon at night, it might look white. It might look gray or silver. Sometimes it seems to shine and glow. But the moon does not give off light the way the sun does. The moon is a ball of rock that gives off no light of its own. It simply reflects light from the sun. That means light from the sun hits the moon and bounces off. And our caption, our moon is easily visible on most clear nights. So coming back to our question, how can we see the moon at night, and does the moon give off its own light? I'll give you about 10 seconds to think that one through. So in order for us to see the moon at night, we actually need the sun. The sun actually shines their light and it bounces off of the moon and creates that glowing look. And so the moon is just a giant rock. And because it's just a giant rock, there's no light that comes off of it. So the sun has to actually create the light for us. Okay, so before we read the next page, why does the moon seem to change size and shape as a month goes by? That's what we're looking for on the next part. You already know that Earth orbits around the sun, but did you know that the moon orbits around Earth? It takes just about 1 month for the moon to completely circle Earth. If you look up at the night sky each night of the month, you may think that the size and shape of the moon is changing. However, the size and shape are not really changing. The moon is still a round ball. It looks different at different times of the month because of the way the light from the sun is reflected and how much of the moon we can actually see from Earth. This chart shows the phases of the moon. It shows what you might see if you look at the moon each night for a month. You can read the chart just like you would read a book. Start at the top and go from left to right. When you finish reading the first row, you go on to the next one. You can see how the moon seems to change during the month. So we're reading it like the pages of a book. So we read across, then back to the next row, and the next row, and the next row. So take a second and try and figure out, why does it seem to change shape and size? I'll give you about 10 seconds to think that one out. Okay. So why does the moon seem to change size and shape? It's because of the way that the Earth, or the moon, and the sun kind of interact. So yesterday we talked about how the Earth orbits around the sun. Well, now not only is the Earth orbiting the sun, but now we have the moon that's orbiting the Earth. And as that moon circulates around the Earth, it's not hitting the sun in the same way. So for example, if I'm the moon, and my screen right here that you guys can see is the sun, if I'm over here, you'll notice that the sun isn't touching the moon, which means there's no light that's going to hit it, which means that that's a new moon. You're not going to be able to see it. But if I'm over here, you can see the entire moon, so you're going to get probably more of that full moon effect. And as it comes to the side, that's when you kind of get where it looks like it's cut in half and things like that. So that's why the way that the sun hits the moon in different angles is what causes it to create the different shapes and sizes. The way that Earth, the moon, and the sun move can also make other interesting things to look at in the sky. When Earth, the moon, and the sun all move together in a direct line, something called an eclipse can take place. we can see two kinds of eclipses from Earth. One kind happens when the moon gets in between the sun and the Earth. When that happens, we can't see the sun for a while. At least we can't see part of it. We call this a solar eclipse or an eclipse of the sun. During eclipse of the sun, the moon moves between Earth and the sun, blocks out the sun. So this is actually a solar eclipse. As you can see, if I were to look up at the sky, our moon is actually covering the sun. Yes, we can still see a little bit of the sun, but it's blocked mostly. These are really important that we don't look at them though, because they can actually still hurt your eyes, even if it is covered. So before I read the next page, I want you to think about, why does part of the moon have a shadow on it? So we kind of talked a little bit about the sun changing the moon's shape and size. Now we're looking at, why is there a shadow on the moon? The other kind of eclipse, called a lunar eclipse, also involves the sun, the moon, and Earth. It takes place when the moon passes behind Earth and into its shadow. In the image on the next page, you can see that a shadow covers part of the moon. It is Earth's shadow that you see. Earth has blocked out the sun and left part of the moon in its darkness. So the answer to that question, why does part of the moon have a shadow on it? Well, the moon, this is during a lunar eclipse. It's actually the shadow of the Earth that has reached it. So that's the answer to that one. Next, the last question I'm going to ask is, why is it unsafe to look at a solar eclipse? So we kind of talked about it briefly, but we're going to get more into why it's important not to look directly at it. Eclipses do not happen often because the sun, Earth, and the moon all have to line up just right. Solar eclipses can only be seen from a narrow strip of Earth at a time. While they happen once or twice a year, it is very, very rare to see one. Eclipses of the moon happen more often, several times each year. They can be seen from half of Earth at a time, so are more often visible. Whether or not you can see an eclipse depends on where you are on Earth. You must never look directly at a solar eclipse. The sun is very bright and can burn your eyes, but it is safe to look at an eclipse of the moon. If an eclipse is predicted, it is usually big news, so you'll likely hear about it. So I'll give you 10 seconds. Why is it unsafe to look at a solar eclipse? This one, it's kind of the same thing as if we say, don't look at the sun. It can actually burn your eyes. Now, it doesn't show as much through the moon, but it's still really damaging. So never look directly at a solar eclipse. So that's it for our reading for today. So we have one more thing that we're going to hit before we close for today. So we are actually going to be talking about conjunctions. What is a conjunction? If I can get my video thing. There we go. So conjunctions are words that connect other groups. Let me move my thing. Connect other words or groups of words. So the conjunction connects words. So conjunction connects words or groups of words. It means plus, along with, or also. The conjunction is used to connect groups of words. It signals that something is different, such as a different idea will come after. The conjunction because is used to mean for this reason and signals the answer to a why question. It signals the cause of something. The conjunction so means then this happened and signals the effect in a cause and effect sentence. So I know that was confusing a little bit. So I'm actually going to show you kind of what I was talking about. I was a little confused myself because I just made this. So this three, the word and, the word but, the word because, and the word so are all examples of conjunctions. So I know that was a little confusing when I started. That when you see those words in a sentence, they are meant to connect other words. So if I'm saying the conjunction and, it means also, it means along with, plus. So if I'm saying me and my sister, or my sister and I went to the store, the and adds the sister and the I. So that is adding those two together. The conjunction but is also used to connect groups of words. So it signals that something is different. I wanted to go going on my bike, but it was raining. So something different is coming afterwards. So the first idea was I wanted to go bicycling. The second idea is that it's raining. The next conjunction is because, and it's used for this reason. So when it answers the why question, my sister was happy because it was her birthday. It's the cause of something happening. And we kind of touched on that when we did our cause and effect lesson. And the last conjunction we're going to talk about is so. So goes with then this happened and then this happened. So this is actually the effect. So we're going to focus on two conjunctions today. Then we're going to focus on because first. In sentences that show cause and effect, the cause is signaled by the conjunction because. We actually talked about that in the cause and effect video. When you see because, that signals that the cause is coming. Because it was snowing, school was canceled. So our cause was that it was snowing. The why is, or the what happened was school was canceled. The cause is the event that happens first in time, regardless of its order in a sentence. The cause is signaled by the word because. The effect is the event that happens second. So which simple sentence, it was snowing or school was canceled, is the cause and which one is the effect? Well, we know that the cause is the why something happened and the effect is what happened. So the why is it was snowing. The because, or the what is school got canceled. So our effect, our cause is it was snowing, and our effect is school was canceled. The next conjunction we're going to talk about is so. So signals an effect, just like because signals a cause. It is snowing, so school was canceled. So what is the effect of it snowing? School is canceled. So that was a really brief discussion of how we would look at a conjunction. So remember, conjunctions are when we're trying to connect different groups of words. So we have and, so, because. Those are all conjunctions that are connecting different ideas. So I will see you guys tomorrow for lesson 3. Make sure you're completing the exit ticket. It's going to go along with your reader that we just read. If you have any questions about it, let me know. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.